Yep. I look like I've been hit by a truck. Nah, I'm not that bad. I'm just really, really tired. I don't know why. I got a fair amount of sleep last night. I should be good, but I'm not. Anyway, so this week, I feel like I could just close my eyes and fall asleep. This week is a audio and music week, so I want to sort of start out on that process now and figure out what the actual project or projects will be. Now, I was hoping to find another one of my books in order to do this with, but occasionally I find some real treasures at the thrift stores. I have 650 outstanding, it's backwards for me, outstanding songs. And they're almost always less than a page long. And some of them I've heard of, some of them I have never heard of, and some of them are really not aging well. I was looking at one earlier today and I was like, that's the most racist thing I have ever seen in a song ever. And it's, well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. I have found some old books in thrift stores with music in them. Holy crap. There's some bad things out there. And it's like, they didn't think they were being bad, but holy crap, there's some really rough things out there. But this one has some very kind of non-politically correct content. When was this released? Honestly, I'd almost wager for the time that it came out, which was, I don't have a date on it. Wow, it literally is packed with nothing but music. I can't tell you word one about when it came out here. It's not dated at all. But I would wager that's probably easily the 1960s at the earliest. It might be 70s. Anyway, so the thing I will say about looking through some of these, it treats it like they're like classics, and some of them are, but some of them I have never heard of in my life. And maybe if I heard them played, I'd know them, but The Blonde Sailor, Amapola, I don't know. The Bandit, Chicory Chick, The End of a Love Affair, Glad All Over. Yeah, and so some of these are not like well-known songs, but so like on the first page here, you'll see it's really just, these are two songs on the first page. And if I took one of these songs from the top portion and just took a few bars and used that to form the, each one of these actually in most cases. So if we look at the Don't Stand a Ghost of a Chance with You on the bottom, it's a little bit cleaner to see. It's just individual notes. And so if I broke each of those individual notes into a chord that I could do in an arpeggio or a split chord, where you bounce back and forth for halves of the chord, and you take a chord, you play that chord for the same note that you have there, and then you play one of the lower notes of a lower version of one of the notes in the chord, not necessarily the first one, to match it, and then you put a beat on that, and you've got something you can work with for making a new song out of it. I've seen some people do some stuff like that. You could also you could take the notes and rhythm, swap them into chords, and swap them into a minor from a major chord, or even swap them to an entirely different type of chord, just matching the rhythm of it. And I have seen people use that sort of technique for creating like that background music you hear in video games. I did find one or two in here earlier today where I'm not even going to use the whole song. I'm really just going to rip maybe 2 to 4 bars from a given song, and it may not be the first 2 bars. It may not be the chorus bars. I may actually just take random bars from different places in the song and slap them together and see what I get out of that. And it's just a way to have like it's like using the individual bars on one of these songs is like using Legos. It's a start of a building block to play with, because these pieces already work in the formation they're in. So then you just ask yourself, can I take that and twist them in a new way? So I want to try to do that with a couple of songs in here this week. I got to figure out some of the songs, and I'll try to be using LMMS, Linux Music something or other, or mixer, multi-mixer or something. But that one has the piano roll. It's free. It's a Linux-based thing. I should be able to use it to at least get it to play the notes in the right sequence, add a trick for drums, maybe switch up some instruments. And I could possibly take the main part of a song and swap in the chorus, or take a bridge from a song and use the chorus as a foundation for a melody in it, because they're not usually played at the same time, but they're also built to complement the sound of each other. So using things like that to kind of rip pieces into mixing new kinds of tones to that, and using some of the different beats, change the tempo. Yeah, you can remix a whole new song just based off of that, and it's sort of what you see with people who are practicing musicians, is when they get together and they're just riffing off of each other without actually really. I know some musicians who can't even read music, but they catch a little bit of a sound off of a song or something, and they latch onto it and say like, if we just do this and bend that end in a new direction, we could do this, leads into this part better. And it's that playing with the pieces of a sound that let you build new sounds with them. So that's definitely one of the things I want to try to do this week. Oh, I am super tired. I think the event the other day really kind of, because I didn't eat all day long, and it made my system very angry with me last night. And subsequent to that, it sort of wiped me out, and I went and got some sleep, and my body just hasn't recovered yet. The other thing I want to try to do this week potentially is I was talking before when we were looking at making board games with computer add-ons, and I reviewed that LXT or whatever, XLT robot, storytelling robot for kids, where it used both sides of an audio cassette tape on the left and right audio channels for each side, so that you had 4 channels that you could put content on, and it would switch between front and back and left and right to give a sense of 4 options for a response to whatever it posed. And I feel like I can't do that yet with a YouTube video, but I kind of want to see what I can do. I do feel like at some point there's got to be a way, like I could probably build an external device that would let me do something along the lines of, like there's some things you can do. If you hit a button or something, it'll cut out the human voice from a audio track. I know some people do it with like karaoke stuff, where you're able to trim out the voice and just play the music while it's playing the song. Now, I don't know if there's a way to do that for devices on like YouTube videos. And if I can, I'd love to try to, figure out what kind of device would let me do that on the fly, so that you could plug, I could make a kit, or I could make a ready-made product that we could manufacture and sell, and people could plug them in to any YouTube video and they should work, but specifically make them in such a way that I could then make videos that take advantage of 3 or more means of layered recording audio that you can trim and move between different parts of it. And the best I could probably do right now for something like that is the left and right headphone feature. So if I take a set of headphones like these, and earbuds, or however you want to do it, and the ultra simple version of this to start with is going to be, this is right, this is left. And so you can be holding them both, and it'll ask a question or tell a story piece, and then you have to choose which one you're going to go with. And so you listen to one that matches your response, and it'll actually respond to you as if you've given a distinct answer. Whereas what's actually happening is both the say it's a trivia question. So like if you do a riddle with a binary answer, and you decide answer A is your choice, so you answer A, or in this case L, you listen to the left side. If you choose answer R, I guess, you listen to the right side. If you listen to both, you're going to get 2 different audio tracks playing completely different responses to your choice that are going to be confusing to hear them both playing at the same time. It's going to be like 2 people trying to have a conversation with you at the same time and speaking over each other. But choosing the left or right, trivia style things are a little bit easier, because I can do here's the question, you pick whether it's true or false or something like that, and left, true, and then back to dual channel to ask the next question. So even if you don't put up the other headphone again, you'll still get the prompt for the next question in this ear, because it's on both channels. and then the choose left or right for your answer, that's entirely possible. Now, there was a possibility of doing a sort of a story sequence where you come up to a fork in the story and, left channel or right channel, and you pick left channel, and then you come to another choice to be made in the story. You either continue on left channel or you can switch to right channel. But the trick to that is, if the first choice you made is left channel, then your choice is stay left or go right. But if your choice is right, your option to go left or stay right, they're both going to be the same as the option for left and right on the left path. So left and right path choice 2 both lead to left and right path choice 3s. So if you it's hard to narrate how difficult that would be to make it work, because the choices being made don't have a consequence after that first choice. If your first choice is to go to the left channel, as soon as the next choice after that is left or right, it means that the first choice didn't matter, because the second set of choices for the right channel are left or right. So they're the same choices. Stage 3 is the same for both channels. So why did you bother having to pick one or two for the other? But trivia doesn't have that problem, because there's no carrying consequences after the answer is given. You give a question with a true or false or option A, option B answer style, and they're either right or they're wrong. And then the next question is not beholden to which channel you're on. So that works a little bit easier. There are a couple ways I could potentially play around with that idea a little bit. There's also one of the things I talked about last time too, was some of the keyboard shortcuts that you can use for stuff. So like the J button is back 5 seconds, I think. K button is pause. L button is forward 5 seconds. And then the right arrow and left arrow are 10 seconds in either direction. And so knowing that, you can pose a question, hit K to let them think, and then from there, hit, say, 5 seconds forward for one answer, 10 seconds forward for another answer, and then hit K to unpause and hear the response, hit K again at the end, and see where you have to go after that. Now, when you do that, you have the potential of each one of those endings, you can move forward 5 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever forward. And then there's the third option of don't jump forward at all. So if I did say a 5 second question or a 5 second story setup, in this case, this works a little bit better for story setup. If I go 5 second story setup and then hit pause at the end of it, make your choice, and you have the choice of no jump forward, 5 second forward, 10 second forward. So at the end of no jump forward, you have 10 seconds of content after the end of that no jump forward. So 5 seconds, choice 1, no jump, choice 2, 5 seconds, choice 3, 10 seconds. So if you go 5 seconds into the story and then no choice, you get a response, a 5 second story bit. And when that comes to an end, you're 10 seconds in, but you're also 10 seconds left of your choices playing. So in that case, you have to jump a minimum of 10 seconds forward to the next empty spot. If you chose the 5-second jump forward, if you jump 10 seconds forward from 5 seconds, it's an empty spot. If you jump 5 seconds forward, it's the same clip as the 10 seconds on the non-jump answer. And then the 10-second jump answer for the first set, if you jump forward, if you don't jump forward at all, it takes you to the second half of the no jump forward. Yeah. There's got to be a way to diagram this so it makes sense, because I'll tell you, trying to speak it out loud is just absurd. But the ability to have 3 options and the end of the choices you make jumping further, like that second choice on the first 5-second bit, you have the option of jumping 5 seconds forward or jumping 10 seconds forward. And so that line of story can jump and continue to jump further and further, so the consequences of that choice perpetuate. The third option on the first choice also has some of those capabilities. There will be a point at which you start to get overlap between the two of them, but in like choose your own adventure stories, there's always the option of making one of them dead end. You know, you died of dysentery, or you fell into the lava pit and go back to the beginning kind of element. And there is a shortcut key that'll take you all the way back to the beginning of the story to start over again. So there's potentially a way to do that. Now it's not a super clean way, and the formatting, like the scripting, is going to be tricky. And you only have 5 seconds per topic. Really more like 3 seconds, because you want to give them 3 seconds of story, 2 seconds to see the counter hit and let them know where to pause before they make their choice. But I feel like if I do that, I'm also going to have to make an instructional video so that like people know how the game works. Because if you don't do it, it's just going to be a jumbled, confusing thing. I am still very somewhat sore about I'm still a little bit sore about the fact that we don't have the annotations that let us control that. Because annotations were great. In the middle of this video, we could have a pop-up window show up, and not on live videos, obviously, but you'd have a pop-up bubble that says, click here to jump to this choice, and a bubble over here that says click here to jump to this choice. And they could link internally to the video, and you could jump to a different section of the video, which is always what my goal has been with those types of puzzles or riddles or games, because I don't want to build a massive stack of hidden videos that link from the end of one video to another, because then they're just opening video after video, and there's a load time, and then there's ads and crap like that if you're not careful. And I don't want to have to be multiple videos as much. I mean, eventually for some of the stuff that I do, we're going to end up doing, because some of the stories, like if I do a 5-second, 10-second, no second trilogy of options, I can carry that just about so far. But the other option I have is using the number keys at the top. So 1 gets you 10% of the way into the story, 2 gets you to 20, 3 gets you 30, all the way up to 9, which gets you 90% into the video. 0 gets you all the way back to the beginning. And that's an option for some things, but you have to realize that early on, even if you're doing just 3 choices, you have to time the length of those segments to be roughly 10% of the story. And the first 10% of the story, if you hit 1, should take you to the second 10% of the story. If you do 2, it's going to take you right in front of that to the third 10% of the story. And if you take option 3, it'll take you to the fourth 10% of the story. So you're already using up 40% of the story just for the first segment and the second segment, whichever second segment you use. And so you really only get the option to do that maybe twice. You get 2 actual choices in a video with the percentage wise. Now, I have actually questioned whether or not I could set it up so that like you could hit the 0 button, take it all the way back to the beginning, and have that hidden second layer of audio. Like if I combine some of these features into, like, you play all the way through the video on left channel and then hit 0, switch over to right channel, and it gives you the 5-second, 10-second, 0-second jump options to proceed further on the same video stream. Now, some of this would be better considered audio rather than video. That's why I'm doing it this week, because having a series of video clips that play through only works if you get through that in one direction. If you go backtracking, or if you do an audio left, audio right style of gameplay, to have the same video playing for different choices being made, it doesn't always work well. So I got to figure out, for right now, I want to try just playing with the left channel, right channel audio trick, because that's really what, this is an audio week. I'll do some music playing and I'll do some audio tricks. The video skipping, jumping, the percentage jumps, and the 0-second, 5-second, 10-second trick, I may do for the next round of video experiments. We'll see how that goes. But for right now, I think what I really need to do is figure out the format that I want to use, the script that I want to create for the left channel, right channel approach. And I will do some ripping and remixing, ripping apart and remixing some of the music from that book to see if I could get some interesting background, sort of like video game style music that I can use for the creation of videos. So I have sort of like a video soundtrack that I can use, because like some of my like board game reviews could be benefited by subtle, quiet background music, so it's just not dead air when I'm not speaking. Yeah, I think I want to just play with that a little bit, mostly for the first part of the week. But we're pretty much at a half an hour, so I think that's a good place to try to cut them these days. The 45-minute or hour-long ones, they're okay when I've hit a point where I'm really into a topic and I want to talk about it some more. I think what I need to do right now, I might do more of that tomorrow night, where when I have something more to kind of show and demonstrate, and I may actually switch over to the other computer for doing that, because this is the one with the sound software on it, and I think I can hook up some external speakers to it to get it to play. I'm not sure I can do any of that as easily on the other computer. So you may get a different angle tomorrow, and I will potentially be playing some samples of experiments I've been doing. That's the hope anyway. Whether or not I actually get that achieved, I don't know. I'm hoping I have more energy tomorrow, hoping I'm not feeling ill. Hopefully I'm marginally better slept than I am right now. And had the chance to work on that. I'm also going to do the daytime updates for reading, movie, and a board game, I think, this week. So I may do 3 of them this week. And then there's Views Day Night. I'm not sure what I'm going to watch for Views Day Night yet. Like The Boys, Dark Crystal, Russian Doll, a few others that I want to potentially watch. Actually, let's pull that up right now and see what it was I was trying to look at earlier. Yeah, come on. You can work with me. Before you know it, I'm probably going to be sitting here with like 8 different computers in front of me, each one performing a different function. It's not my usual style. Okay, so I have a few unusual movies that I've encountered, but Views Day Night, I'm aiming for doing TV series right now. So we have, is that a series? 2 seasons, yes. The Shannara Chronicles? Yeah, maybe. I have not seen season 2 and 3 of Stranger Things, so I need to get into that. Love, Death, and Robots. Need to see that. I might get back to Black Mirror. Limitless, Russian Doll, Altered Carbon. They did a series of unfortunate events. And Supergirl. Below, 3 Below is one that seemed kind of interesting and I hadn't heard of. That's a movie. There's a movie there. Dark Matters is a series. The Man in the High Castle I haven't watched much of. I haven't seen any of it, actually. Sense8, Ascension, Black Mirror. Didn't I already say that one? I think I already said that one. And I think that's most of the Netflix series. I did have earlier, I pulled up some stuff for Amazon too, that I have some series that I want to watch on there too. And I think that's where The Boys is. And so I got to figure out what I'm going to do next for a TV series. That's great lighting. I love that lighting. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for the next TV series that I watch on Views Days, Tuesday nights. Tuesday afternoons, really, more, because I still do the video Tuesday night. So I got to figure that one out. I feel like I want to start opening up like votes, like posting a list of the things I want to get to and letting people vote on which ones I do next. I'm not sure how to do that yet. I'll look into it, but for right now, I got to spend some time thinking that one through. But the making some music and doing the audio game are the big things I want to potentially play with this week. Not potentially. The things I'm going to be playing with this week. Whether or not I get anything useful out of them is a different question. But I will be playing with them. There is, what is it? Do or do not. There is no try. So that is what we will do. We will do some audio stuff this week. I'm actually kind of hopeful that I can really come up with a fun, creative idea for the left channel, right channel stuff. But I also want to dabble a little bit more with music making. I'm not very good at it yet, and I want to see if I can get better. All right, 35 minutes in. I'm calling it. Thanks for joining me for tonight. I will see you tomorrow. Take care and have a good night. Before I fall over unconscious. Mm-hmm. And when I click the button, that means go.